Ever wonder how to profit in the Pokemon card hobby? Well, in today's video, I'm going over every single strategy that you can take to make profit on Pokemon cards in 2025. We'll go over strategies with varying risk from the super risky to a bit more risk averse and all of the ways that you can do so in 2025. Guys, I promise you're going to want to stick around to the end of the video because there's going to be a ton of value that I'm going to pour into this. So stay tuned. Anyway, starting off with the first strategy, it's just investing in sealed product. If we take a look here at an example of the Pokemon Go Elite Trainer Box, this is one of the most undesirable products Pokemon has ever printed. It came out in 2022, and guys, for the longest time, it was sitting under MSRP at right around like $35 to $40, beating the MSRP of like $50. It was sitting under that, even cheaper at points in time. And guys, now this box is sitting at $75. This goes to prove the point that investing in the sealed market and in sealed product in general is a pretty good way to make money. Now, this is one of the most undesirable sets, and I'm actually going to take a look at another undesirable set in a second. But in all honesty, if we took a look at a better set, like say Evolving Skies, you can see that those boxes have boomed since its release and honestly have continued to go up. Now, this comes with a little bit longer of a timeline. It's not as quick as some of the other options and opportunities that we're going to get into later on in the video, but it is still a great opportunity for you to get. It's also pretty easy as well for you to just buy a box, hold it, and just sit on it for years at a time, because historically most Pokemon boxes have gone up in price, especially after the COVID boom in 2020. Things seem to just continue to rise as supply dwindles. Demand will sort of always be there for those out of print sets. And guys, people will open up these packs and the packs aren't going to get reprinted. There's very, very, very low likelihood that these packs will ever be reprinted after their reprint window or after their competitive viability window, which is like 3 years, which Pokemon Go is actually going to exit very, very soon. So probably won't be seeing any more Pokemon Go being printed. Another undesirable set here is Scarlet and Violet base set. We're taking a look at the booster box now, which for the longest time was sitting even under distributor and wholesale costs, being like 85, like $83 for a booster box of Scarlet and Violet base. For a good amount of last year, sitting at just under $100, and then recently has boomed all the way up to just under $190, gaining $100 in a year, plus 112% on the year. Literally insane. The return on this thing is nuts. And guys, I chose Pokemon Go and Scarlet and Violet base because they were undesirable sets. Personally, I like both of the sets, but not a lot of people did. And now it's worth $190. And the people who bought it at $90 a box, at $85 a box, ended up winning big now if they held on to their position, because it gained $100 in a year. That's insane. Now, this is a little bit of an iffy example because it only came out like last year, maybe 2 years ago, and the market has boomed 2 years later, and we're seeing an unprecedented boom in Pokemon right now. But I think you guys get the idea. These were two of the most undesirable sets, and yet even they had crazy returns. So if you buy a box, if you hold that box, and if you hold that box long enough, you will probably make a profit in Pokemon cards. It's just that simple. Don't open it, let it sit. The downside too of this is also just having the space to do it. Obviously, booster boxes are probably your best option if you're limited on space. Very compact, has the most amount of packs, and you got to save space. ETBs, like the Pokemon Go ETBs, are a little bit more clunkier, take up a bit more space. But for those holiday sets like Pokemon Go, like Champion's Path, like Hidden Fates, like Paldean Fates, there are no such thing as booster boxes for those sets. So something to keep in mind. Storage and space will go a long way and will actually matter for sure. Anyways, transitioning into opportunity two, single cards. Literally just buying single cards. You take a look here at the Charizard GX from Hidden Fates, one of the chase cards of the Sun and Moon era. Huge, huge, huge hype machine back in 2019. We take a look here at the year. Just last year, sitting at $386, which is still a very expensive card. And now it's ballooned all the way up to $530, literally just by investing in the single, you're up about, I don't know, 38% it says over the course of a year, and up a good amount of money, like close to 150, 160 bucks. I can't do math, but a good amount of money in just a year. Granted, we are in a boom and everything is cyclical. These prices will probably fall eventually. But the point is, you can buy singles, not even to grade, but just to hold. And if you hold them for long enough, maybe the demand for that sort of single or that type of card goes up and you play it pretty well and are able to get a good return on your money. Now, guys, I get that playing the long game with singles isn't going to sound as great of an opportunity as maybe it would with sealed, because the returns really are a bit more variable and it really just depends on what the market's doing, what's hot in the market, what's not. Whereas sealed does something completely different. As more packs get opened and no more new packs are being printed, the supply just dwindles, so it just makes sense. Whereas singles, like somebody could pull a random Charizard GX one day out of a Hidden Fates pack, and it's boom, one more new single back into the market. So it's really a bit more variable, and I understand that if that isn't something that you're interested in. But the third opportunity here that I'm going to go over on how to profit in Pokemon is through grading. This is number one, very, very cheap. You don't need a ton of cash to do it or capital up front. It's very quick, and granted, there's still a bit of waiting time, but it's quicker than the years it takes to let a card or a sealed box mature. And guys, I swear by it. I think it's great. You can also start with all of the cards in your collection as well. All you really need is an account with whatever grader you're going to be using, and like some tools like price charting, eBay, TCG Fish, all of those stuff. And guys, if you want my full grading tutorial on how to make money, I'll link that somewhere and you can find it on my channel. Super helpful video, a ton of value. But guys, take a look here at the Charizard GX, the same card that we looked at. And guys, right now we take a look at the PSA 10. It is sitting at just under a $900 card, almost doubling the price of the $451 ungraded price of the card. Now, guys, take into consideration that there will be grading fees, there will be a 3-month waiting period. But guys, if you get lucky and get a PSA 10, you are going to be a very happy camper. Turning $450 into $900 with a little bit of risk and a little bit of time. 3 months is an incredible timetable for that, and could be a very, very good opportunity, a very quick way to make profit quick. Guys, this isn't just the only card I'm going to show you. I want to take a look at the Umbreon VMAX, which, guys, really had a crazy year. I mean, starting off the beginning of the year, sitting at $611, which, by the way, for a Sword and Shield near mint card was insane. People were losing their minds with the fact that Umbreon got to $600, which was, a very expensive card. Now it is sitting at $1,493, pretty much just under $1,500. Then, guys, the same can be said with the Charizard GX. If you wanted to buy it at $600 and wait until it got to $1,500, you could play that waiting game. You'd have to time the market a little bit. There'd be a ton of risk and variables in there. But if you wanted to, one of the ways you could profit in Pokemon is just by buying a single and holding on to it, hoping that the market will have that card take off and do that. But this is still a crazy opportunity. Turning $600 into $1,500 in 1 year is nuts. That's literally insane. Like, the stock market can never. Guys, this was up 144%, which is nuts. But we take a look here at the graded prices. The PSA 10 price of this Umbreon is now sitting at just around $2,500 flat, which, guys, if you bought the card for $1,500 and turned it into $2,500, that is not a bad flip either. It'd be nicer if you bought it for $600 back in the day. But even today, there's still opportunity for profit. You saw that with the Charizard GX. If you were to buy it at $451 or $500 and turn it into $900, price charting has a little bit of a variable price with some of its singles compared to TCG Player. But even if you bought it at the $500 price and turned it into $900, there's still an opportunity there. Buying Umbreon at $1,400 and turning it into $2,500 is a great opportunity. I mean, there is the risk, though, that you get a 9 and your $1,500 card turns into pretty much $1,500 card and you lose your grading fee, you lose the time. But there is that risk, and that is a part of it. However, it is extremely easy and can be done really, really effectively with also lower tiered cards like your $5 cards, your $10 cards. A lot of $15 to $20 cards can be turned into 100, $80 slabs, like 80 to $100 slabs pretty easily. And if you send enough in, the maths, and enough of them will get a 10 to where you'll make money and you'll be a very happy camper. So, guys, take that into consideration. And the last way I think you can make a profit off of Pokemon cards is to just look where nobody else is looking. One of the examples that I give in almost every single video is mid-era cards right now. I recently picked up a Gardevoir EX from Sandstorm. Lovely card, beautiful, beautiful copy. I got it in near mint condition. It's like 20, like 2 years old or something. It's crazy how old of a card it is, and it's still in near mint condition. I'm planning on grading it with PSA. If it gets a 10, it's like $1,000 slab. Then I picked it up for like $80. So there's a ton of good opportunities in the mid era. You have your level X cards, you have your legend cards. Even like gold stars are pretty hyped right now, but like cards from the EX era, like your EXs, even your hollows or reverse hollows from the EX era are pretty good opportunities. Guys, I want to take a look at specifically, let's take a look at the legend cards. Um, there's a few that we see here, like the Rayquaza and Deoxys, and these are, an interesting example because they're pretty niche cards and with taking up the card horizontally, but they're still really neat cards. And I wanted to take a look at this Hoa Legend here. You have a few near mint listings for $109. The market price is 63. Who knows? With these types of cards, there's probably not a lot out in the market. And their near mint prices might vary a bit just based off of how minty the card actually is. If there's whitening on the corners, if it's just completely perfect, it'll probably vary a little bit. But if we take a look here at the PSA 10 price, one thing is for certain, you're getting prices like $940 and $1,500, averaging out to like 624, which I don't even think is correct. You have that one $256 listing, which is in Japanese. So you get to turn $100 card into like $1,000 card. It's a pretty good opportunity. Not a ton of people are looking at this. And I don't mean just like the mid era, but you can look elsewhere. You can look at different language cards. You can look at different era of cards. Like you could look at anywhere where the hype is in illustration rares, alternate art, sealed product. There's opportunities everywhere in this hobby. And one of the ways to profit is by looking where other people aren't, because the market is cyclical. One day illustration rares are hot, and then the next vintage is going to be hot. That's just how it's going to go, or something along those lines. So the point is, look where other people aren't looking. I promise you, you're going to do well if you hold it long enough. Maybe you want to grade them. There's a ton of opportunities. So guys, you can invest in sealed products. You can invest in single cards and hold them for the long term. You can grade single cards out of your collection or buy them just raw, straight up, and send them in to get graded. And you can look where nobody else is looking, buying singles, grading singles, or just holding them. These are a few of the best ways to make a profit in Pokemon. Guys, I just wanted to give you a ton of value in this video. I hope you found it valuable. But guys, remember, it is all about collecting what you love. I hope you're out there doing that. I hope you're having fun in the hobby during these tough times. I appreciate you watching this. I hope you found some value in it. And if you like, subscribe to the channel. I'd love to have you. Thanks so much for watching. Peace.